Yes, yes, y'all. It is another edition of the Daddy's Working Podcast. If you were listening last week, then you heard part one of the interview and I left you hanging. Gosh, I'm such a tease. But we're here and we're ready to rock and roll. So let's dive back into part two of the interview. Yeah, that real estate stuff is boring. I want to rewind back to you're losing your ass. Everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
You're overweight, you're unhappy. And here's the reason. So let me preface this so that you know I'm not picking on you. But I too was involved in real estate and doing deals and investments in '04, '05, '06. I lost my ass in '07. Lost everything, foreclosures everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I made $1 million and lost $1 million is what I like to say. And I met my wife at that time.
Wow.
I met her at my first real estate closing. And I have no clue what she saw in me because I was cocky AF, right? And nobody liked me. Nobody liked me, but somehow she liked me. And I'm thinking, I don't know what she sees. Actually, back then, now I would say I don't know what she sees in me. Back then, I'm like, yeah, I'm awesome, right? But I wasn't awesome, and I don't know how she saw through that, right? So, what is it? Like, how does she inspire you and pull the best out of you? Like, what was it going on in your mind? What was the emotion? What were you doing? Why were you rising up to be at this girl's level or this woman's level?
I think at the time I had gone through living the unfocused life, of just being the bachelor, hanging out with the guys, really no responsibility, no focus, and trying to look for relationships in bars, and yeah, I'm that guy, and I'm like, how stupid, right? So in order for me to really change my environment, I started making changes. So I actually met her in church. So I wasn't like a frequent church attendee at that time, but that's the way God works. Like, I attended church randomly. I saw her. I asked about her. And the next thing you know, the priest's father introduced us and put us together on a coffee date where he actually, escorted her with her. And I met them at a coffee shop, total old school, but I loved it, right? Coming from this, bar scene and, how that goes into, wait a second, I'm actually courting this girl and she's being escorted by, the priest of the church. Like that's a bit different extreme. But, a lot of guys probably would have been, I'm not ready for all that. But for me, I just knew that this was an opportunity to really meet a girl that could, level me up, and the way she carried herself and the way she spoke and just, she's really, she's like an angel. She says, I'm your guardian angel and God sent me here for you. And it's true. She's put up with a lot from me, dude. And, I am blessed for, to have her as my wife. I love her. She's given me 2 beautiful boys. So, it's all timing, if I was at a different place in my life, or if I would have said no to church, maybe, then it would probably never would have happened. But at that point, I had just gotten to, a really low point in terms of, partying and living that lifestyle. And it wasn't me anymore. And so I had this opportunity, and us as sales guys and closers, when we have an opportunity, we're closing it. We're closing it. So that's kind of, how it really went down.
Yeah. That my wife was totally out of my league, like totally way out of my league. And it felt good to rise up and be the man that she needed, even though it took some time, maybe more time than it should have. But
I think it's always a work in progress, right? I don't think we'll ever say we're done, right? I mean, it's there's always more to do. There's always something we could do better at. And, that's what we're striving for.
So you're 70 pounds overweight. How do you get rid of that? What is the process? Do you just make it disappear? Do you go hard and fast, or what?
I got down in weight like in 2016, and still wasn't serious about it. And I didn't start getting serious about it, really, to be honest with you guys, till exactly 9 months ago. So I've lost 40 pounds over the last 9 months.
Wow.
And that's been through a combination of, obviously your diet might change my whole diet, and hardcore workouts, pretty much every single morning, CrossFit, high intensity, workouts I love it. I love the challenge, and I going through some of the pain is kind of addicted to it, to be honest. I like it. I built myself up. I mean, I'm 229 pounds, and I'm running like 4 miles.
Wow.
Without stopping at a pretty decent pace. So my endurance and my, I'm getting in the best shape of my life right now, and it's been fun. And I'm not stopping. Like it's part of me now.
That's awesome, man. All right, so you tried all those areas of real estate. You settled on what? You're wholesaling, or you rehabbing, or both?
Both, but primarily we wholesale. That's really where I like to operate my business. Again, it goes back into what's your vision, what your company and what your business, what do you want it to do for you, creating that. So it's primarily wholesaling, but we buy property to rent. We buy property to wholesale. I mean, I've done, I don't know, at least 100 flips. It's just not something that I personally want to do volumes.
So what you said, and I like this, by the way, what you want your business to do for you. So what do you want your business to do for you?
I want my business to serve me in terms of my time. So, in terms of, hey, I'm here at the house today. I didn't have to rush to the office to be there to answer phones or, to send contracts. I'm here, got my workout in this morning, spent some time in the morning with the kids. Now I'm sitting here in my bedroom talking to you on a podcast. And to me, that's freedom. I can hang out and no one is telling me I have to be somewhere. But designing that business with intent and purpose is really the key. So when I'm saying, what do you want it to do for you? Well, I want it to run successfully at a high level, as little of my hands in it, for lack of better words.
Did you start out that way with that intent and purpose, or is that something that has evolved?
It's just evolution. It's, when I figured out I needed to scale and grow a business is when I made a next step in my life in terms of investing in myself, right? So it wasn't a new concept for me, but, I was at a level where there was a lot of running around and running a property management business and being an investor. I had all these, irons in the fire. And then so deciding to reach out to DM randomly through Facebook. And he's like, come out to my deal-a-thon. And I did. That's when I met a lot of the guys in the group and the DM fam, but, learned about the scale process at that time.
So with everything that you've done and all the growth, you're talking about DM. And for the listeners who don't know, that the DM family is a mastermind, a very high-level exclusive mastermind that we both belong to. And Ray's been on the show. Joe Lieber's been on the show. So they've heard of it. But is this something that you have been doing throughout your career? Is this new to you, like the mentorship and mastermind thing? What's that look like?
No, because I remember at an early age, my parents would hire like side trainers or coaches. So I was a catcher in baseball. So I remember them, they'd hire a catching coach for me to work on fundamentals and drills. So I always liked being coached because it held me accountable. So even today, I hire a trainer that holds me accountable. For me, it's always worked that way. If, I've learned that I respond when, people are expecting things, or there's a deadline, or there's other people involved. If I'm solo, I have to be honest, I let myself down too much. And so, I've just learned that about myself. So I put in these stop gaps in place to keep me progressing. And just being part of athletics my whole life, I'm used to the team approach. I'm used to being coached. I'm not egotistical. I could take constructive criticism. I thrive on competition. I don't get angry or jealous of competitors. It motivates me, So that type of environment and that structure is comfortable for me. So it was natural for me to say, okay, I want to acquire something. I want to acquire a new knowledge level or a new level of life. It just made sense to me that I have to invest into that to receive the information. It's not free. So every decision I've made when I said, I want to learn about wholesaling. So at the time, it was invest in a fortune builders program.
Dan Merrill, I did that too. That's where I.
Yeah, yeah. So those guys are from Fresno. So Dan, JD, and Paul are born and raised in Fresno. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, I was an early member of the Fortune Builders Mastery. I joined in 2010, and at the time it was like 12 grand to be part of the mastery program. Now it's like 50 or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the money, so I just became resourceful, and I negotiated with them like a $3,200 down payment, and they financed me the rest, just so I can get that knowledge of wholesaling in my hands and then go out and put it to work. So if I didn't make that decision, we're not here today. If I don't make that decision to level up and be in a high level mastermind, we're not here today. So it's just the choices we make, and then the actions we take after those choices will continually level you up. I mean, it has for me, and I really believe that it will for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Invest in yourself. That's what said it before, and I'll say it again. That's the best investment I've ever made, when I invest in myself. That's a sure bet in my mind. All right, so listen, gotta pay the bills. So here is a quick advertisement for your ears that I think you're gonna find useful. How would you like to spend more time with your family and less time on your business? Before anyone chooses to do business with you, they need to know one important thing. Can I trust you? The only problem is, building trust can take forever. And I know you don't have that kind of time. But what if there was a way to build trust in minutes instead of years? You'd want that, wouldn't you? Good news, buckaroo. That's exactly what you'll get inside my Digital Daddies Toolkit. It's got my top 3 speed influence tools to make you a trusted expert in any market quickly. Go to daddiesworking.com/DDT to grab your copy today. So now you're able to chat with me from your home base. Your business is not eating you alive. What's the future look like for you? What are you working for? What is your purpose?
Yeah, my purpose on the business side is to continue to have stability and consistency as we grow and scale. We're growing. More marketing is being deployed. We're in the process of hiring. So I'm moving forward with the vision of having that perform at its capabilities. I still think there's a lot of work to be done there, but I like doing that. So that's always going to be a part of my life, I believe. And then now venturing into education and coaching. I like to do a little bit more of that. So that's something that I'm working on, and doing some events and bringing in guys that I could help grow and scale their business and have these types of conversations, because this is where the value's at.
What you mentioned earlier is the book that you're working on. Is that part of this new evolution or this next phase that you're going through right now?
Yeah, I think it's it's a little bit of a little bit of my story. It's definitely not about X's and O's in terms of strategy. I think there's a lot of information out there, but this is a little bit of more of, hey, here are the lessons that I've learned, and these are what I want to share as to. They're very basic, but they're not hard to. They're very hard to accomplish. So if you can master these basic skills, you'll be successful. It's kind of showing how I was just taking imperfect action and just going through any obstacle regardless, and it's worked out. So I just like to tell people to focus on just being consistent with their actions.
I love the idea of imperfect action. Too many people get caught up in the details and then they just don't do anything. I'd rather go out 70% and fix it while the thing's going down the road than not do it.
Exactly. It cracks me up because people, this is a line in my book, so I'll screw it up because I don't know it verbatim, but it's like, it cracks me up that people spend so much time analyzing hypotheticals, right? So, well, what if this happens? Or what if I invest this much or spend this much and I lose money? What if the seller says, they play all these crazy scenarios in their head and play out these false situations and false outcomes. It's crazy to me. It's like, let's spend time on doing the work and actually let's play it back real. Like, let's see what obstacles actually come about, because it's at that time it's real, and let's use our brain to navigate it at that time. Like, let's not waste our brain space on hypotheticals or would have, could have, should have, because more than likely it's not going to happen the way you envision it. So you're just wasting your brain space. You're wasting your time, and your energy is focused on the wrong. You're focused on the wrong question.
I knew there was a reason we were talking, bro. I mean, I think, I don't even know. I think it might have been Daddy's Working episode 26, where I gave people a 3-step plan to crush all that. And here it is. I want to share it again, and it's worth sharing because you folks out there need to hear this again, because we are reminding you, and I just got validation from Matt G. Do, see, go. Like, do something, see what's happening, and go. Figure out what needs to be done next. There's just no more thinking involved than that right there. Do, see, go.
I'm right there with you. So the analogy I say is ready, fire, aim.
Yeah, right.
So just go out and make a mess, go make mistakes. It's cool. You need to. That's the only way you're going to learn. So get off the, high horse of, I need to be perfect and I just need to know everything. Dude, we're going to lap you before you even decide to even jump in the race. So let's go.
Yeah. Love it. So Matt, we're coming up towards the end, and I always like to ask this because I'm here for my own entertainment, but is there anything that you thought we'd be talking about or that you wanted to talk about that maybe I haven't brought up yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think, family, right? Family is everything. So, your show is faith, finances, family, and fitness. There's so many important, there's 4 shows in there, right? Just on those topics. I mean, they could go on and on. I love the topics, Jonathan. I could talk about this stuff all day. I do have a passion for it. I have a podcast that I'm working on. It's called the Phenom Investor Blueprint. So, we talk a lot. I talk a lot about my faith in this. I talk a lot about my family. I think when you boil it all down, we're all doing this for our loved ones and wanting to create a better life for our kids. And, in order to do that, you have to have faith, and you have to have fitness is huge, right? Because if you can't take care of your health, like, how are you going to take care of, the obligations you need to take care of with your families? That's a big one. And then the finances will take care of itself after your faith is in place, and then your family, and then your fitness. God, family, real estate is what I say. So,
nice.
So
that's the name of the book, God, Family, Real Estate.
I'm playing with that. Here's one quote I'll share with you guys. I heard it the other day. It says, don't set your goals in relation to your own abilities. Set your goals in accordance with the God you serve. So that struck a chord with me, and it's, hey guys, don't put any limiting beliefs on yourself. Anything you're putting on yourself is self-imposed. It's false. It's a lie. Like, you're created to find your unique ability. Again, I encourage you to find your unique ability, get comfortable with it, and then go out and spread that. And that's when you'll have a lot more purpose in your life.
Yeah. And I think that as we're closing, and you've mentioned it just a little bit, but getting around the right people, like you folks out there who are tuning in right now, this is a way for you to get around the right people. But you heard Matt say it earlier. He said that when he didn't have anybody, he went to the library and got around those old people who aren't even around anymore. But elevating your game, getting around the right people, getting the right mindset, being open to change is what's going to give you a life full of joy. We've given you the secret. You're welcome. You're welcome. So Matt, where can folks find you? You know what? Let me see. I have some things written down here. I don't know if I can say all of them. The Phenom Investor Blueprint on IG.
That's me. Yeah, the longest.
Drop the blueprint. I like the Phenom Investor. I like the Phenom Investor, flat out, if you can get it. What about on YouTube? Where are you at on YouTube?
Matt Garabedian. You'll find me.
We'll link it up in the show notes for you guys. All right. So anything else?
Yeah, and then check out the podcast is also on iTunes. It's the Phenom Investor Blueprint.
Boom. He's branded it all up. The Phenom Investor Blueprint. If you Google that, you will find Matt one way or another. Matt, thank you so much for being on the show. And that is a wrap.
Thank you.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.